First contact and confusion. High Admiral Vexthor of the Arxian Empire stood aboard the bridge of the Imperial flagship Eternal Dawn, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh military lighting. The massive viewscreen before him displayed the blue-green planet that their long-range scouts had identified as a potential threat to Imperial expansion. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, had caught the Empire's attention not through any particular technological advancement, but through the sheer chaos of its electromagnetic emissions. Status report. Vexthor commanded, his secondary appendages twitching with anticipation. First Officer Krill approached with a data crystal. "My lord, our analysis is confused. The humans appear to possess technology ranging from primitive combustion engines to quantum computing. They have no unified planetary government, yet somehow maintain a global communication network. Their military capabilities are..." Krill paused, mandibles clicking in distress. "Inconsistent." Vexthor's compound eyes narrowed. In 3 centuries of Imperial service, he had never encountered such a puzzling species. The standard protocol was clear: demonstrate overwhelming force, demand submission, and establish Imperial control. Yet something about these humans made his carapace itch. "Begin the standard intimidation sequence," he ordered, pushing aside his discomfort. The Empire had conquered 37 species across 12 galaxies. These humans would be no different. The massive holographic projection system activated, casting the image of Vexthor across Earth's skies. 100-kilometer-tall crystalline being of obvious artificial origin and overwhelming presence. The carefully crafted message began broadcasting in all known human languages. "People of Earth, your planet has been chosen for integration into the Arxian Empire. Resistance is futile. Submit, and you shall be granted the privilege of serving a superior civilization. Refuse and face immediate." The transmission cut off abruptly. On the main viewer, a new image appeared. A human female with bright pink hair, wearing what appeared to be sleeping attire decorated with cartoon animals. "Oh, my God. This is literally the best TikTok filter I've ever seen," she squealed, her image multiplying across millions of social media streams. "How did you guys make it look so real? The crystalline alien design is giving major space jewelry vibes." Vexthor's translator matrix struggled to process the response. "This is not a filter," he responded, his voice booming across the planet. "We are the Arxian Empire. Conquerors off." Wait. Another transmission cut in, this one showing the human male with facial hair and wearing a shirt with incomprehensible text. "Are you guys promoting that new space movie? Because the marketing budget must be insane. The practical effects are better than Hollywood." The bridge crew of the Eternal Dawn watched in stunned silence as humans across the planet began responding to their invasion threat with excitement, appreciation. Their neural networks struggled to process the flood of incoming signals. Best viral marketing campaign ever. The detail on those alien costumes is incredible. Anyone know which streaming service this show is going to be on? Guys, I think this might be real. Lol, sure, January next you'll tell me birds are real too. First Officer Krill's analytical modules were approaching shutdown. "Sir, they think we're entertainment." Vexthor's crystalline form vibrated with frustration. "Launch the demonstration strike. Target their largest military installation. Show them the reality of their situation." The Eternal Dawn's main cannon charged, drawing enough energy to vaporize a small continent. The beam lanced toward Earth, directly at a facility identified as Area 51. What happened next would be debated in Imperial war colleges for centuries. The beam simply vanished, not deflected, not absorbed. It ceased to exist approximately 1 kilometer above the target. A new transmission appeared on the bridge screen. A human in what appeared to be sleepwear, holding a beverage container labeled coffee, looked at them with mild amusement. "Hey, so about that energy beam thing. We've got like a whole department of TikTok physicists who figured out how to delete those years ago. They were bored during quarantine and started messing with quantum mechanics. Could you maybe not? Some of us are trying to sleep. Vex Thor, for the first time in his 300-year military career, found himself completely speechless. The humans had mastered energy deletion because their particle physicists were bored. First Officer Krill's voice wavered. "Sir, should we try the Planet Crusher missiles?" "No," Vex Thor said quietly, his crystalline form dimming slightly. "Ready my personal shuttle. I believe we need to reassess our first contact protocols, and possibly our understanding of reality itself." As the shuttle bay prepared for his departure, Vex Thor watched the streams of human communication continuing to flood their monitors. They had expected fear, panic, maybe even defiance. Instead, they got memes, jokes, and someone already selling t-shirts with "I survived the alien invasion, and all I got was this lousy shirt" printed on them. The Arxian Empire had encountered many species, but none quite like these humans. And somehow, Vex Thor suspected, this was only the beginning of their confusion. The peculiar defense. The Eternal Dawn's war room had been converted into what First Officer Krill reluctantly termed the Human Observation Center. Hundreds of holographic screens displayed various human social media feeds, news channels, and something called reaction videos to their attempted invasion. Vex Thor stood in the center, his crystalline form reflecting the chaos of information surrounding him. "Report," he commanded, trying to maintain some semblance of military protocol. A junior analyst, Telix, stepped forward, their carapace showing signs of stress fractures from prolonged exposure to human media. "Sir, we've identified their primary defense coordination system. It's called Reddit." Vex Thor's compound eyes focused on a particular screen where humans were actively discussing tactics against the Arxian fleet. The thread title read, "Aliens are basically space lobsters. Here's how to defeat them, wrong answers only. They're coordinating military operations through public forums." Vex Thor asked incredulously. "Not exactly, sir," Telix continued. "They're treating it like something called a community speedrun challenge. They've turned repelling our forces into some sort of game. There's even a point system." On another screen, a human teenager was live-streaming as they apparently hacked into one of the Empire's destroyer-class ships. "Don't forget to like and subscribe," the human chirped while casually bypassing security systems that had taken Arxian engineers centuries to develop. "Big shootout to my girl Sarah for figuring out that alien computers run on crystalline binary. That's so last century, am I right?" Vex Thor watched in horror as the destroyer's systems were reprogrammed to play something called "Never Gonna Give You Up" on endless loop. The crew abandoned ship within hours. "Sir," Krill interjected, "we're detecting unusual activity in the Sol system's asteroid belt." The main display shifted to show hundreds of asteroids being moved through space, arranged in what appeared to be. "Is that a giant smiley face?" Vex Thor asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Yes, sir. Apparently, a group called Space Members United decided our fleet formation was too boring and wanted to spice things up a bit." Krill's translator struggled with the human idioms. The situation deteriorated further when a transmission came in from Earth's self-proclaimed Department of Vibing and Extraterrestrial Relations, headed by a human who insisted on being called DG Space Jam. "Yo, Crystal Bros." The human's hologram appeared, wearing what appeared to be a combination of formal diplomatic attire and something called a onency. "So, we've been thinking, your ships look kind of tense. Have you considered adding some RGB lighting? It would really help with the aesthetic." Before Vex Thor could respond, dozens of Earth's satellites reconfigured themselves, projecting multicolored lights onto the Arxian fleet. His mighty armada, terror of 12 galaxies, now looked like what humans apparently called a space disco. "The crew morale is complicated," Krill reported. "Half of our warriors are requesting immediate transfer to frontier duties. The other half are asking about something called dance tutorials. A new alert flashed across the screens. Somehow, humans had created a social media profile for the Eternal Dawn itself. It already had millions of followers, and someone had started a trend of photoshopping tiny hats onto images of the ship. "Sir," Telix spoke up again, "we've intercepted what appears to be their master defense strategy document. It's titled How to Uno Reverse Card, an Alien Invasion, and has gone viral on something called TikTok." Vexthor moved to a quiet corner of the war room, his crystalline form dimming in defeat. "Contact the Imperial Council," he ordered. Tell them we need to completely redesign our conquest protocols, and possibly our entire understanding of warfare." Meanwhile, on Earth, a group of teenagers had just discovered that Arxian battle algorithms could be defeated by playing classical music backward while solving Rubik's Cubes. They posted a tutorial video that got 10 million views in an hour. The greatest military force in known space was being undone, not by superior firepower or advanced technology, but by what humans called galaxy brain moves and top-tier trolling. "Sir," Krill approached cautiously, "the humans are asking if we want to participate in something called a collab. They say it could really help our engagement metrics." Vexthor stared at the screens, watching as his mighty invasion force became the biggest entertainment sensation in human history. "What exactly," he asked wearily, "is a collab?" The answer, as they would soon discover, would change the fate of both species forever, and possibly break the galactic internet in the process. Cultural shock. The Imperial Cultural Analysis Department aboard the Eternal Dawn was in complete disarray. What had started as a standard invasion had somehow transformed into what humans called a crossover episode, and the Arxians were struggling to keep up. Chief Cultural Analyst Zexna stared at her holoscreen, mandibles twitching in confusion. "High Admiral," she addressed Vexthor, who had taken to stress molting, his crystalline armor showing distinct signs of wear. "I believe I've identified the source of our tactical difficulties." "Proceed." Vexthor sighed, watching as another of his destroyers began broadcasting something called Lofi beats to invade Earth 2. "The humans," Zexna explained, pulling up countless data streams, "don't take anything seriously. It's not a tactical choice. It's their primary survival mechanism. They turn everything, even potential apocalyptic threats, into what they call content." On the main screen, a human influencer was giving a tour of a captured Arxian scout ship. "Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing an extreme makeover, Alien Edition. Don't forget to smash that like button and check out my sponsor, Raid Shadow." Vexthor cut the feed. "How do they do it? Their technology shouldn't be capable of." "That's just it, sir," Zexna interrupted, her excitement overriding protocol. "They don't approach problems like we do. While we spent millennia perfecting our quantum matrices, they discovered that you could achieve the same result by, and I quote, vibing with the universe while drinking something called Red Bull." A junior analyst burst into the room, their carapace vibrating with urgency. "Sir, the humans have discovered our telepathic communication network." "Have they disabled it?" Vexthor asked, dreading the answer. "Worse, they're using it to share something called cat videos." Across the fleet, Arxian warriors found themselves involuntarily experiencing images of small furry creatures knocking objects off elevated surfaces. Morale was devastated. 3 battlecruisers had already declared their intention to convert into what humans called pet cafes. First Officer Krill entered, looking more disturbed than usual. "Sir, we've detected a massive energy surge from Earth." "They're attacking?" "No, they're throwing a party. Something called a rave. They've somehow converted our orbital bombardment warning system into what they call a sick light show." The view screen showed hundreds of thousands of humans dancing under the pulsing lights of military targeting arrays, while someone called DJ Alien Invasion 2024 mixed beats using the harmonics of Arxian engine cores. "Furthermore," Krill continued, "our psychological warfare division has requested vacation time. Apparently, they've been invited to something called Comic-Con as guest speakers. Vexthor watched as another alert flashed across his screen. Humans had started a petition to rename the Eternal Dawn to Boat Me Spaceboat. It had already gathered millions of signatures. "Sir," Zexna spoke up again, "there's something else. The humans have begun teaching our crew their ways. This morning, I found the engine room staff participating in something called a TikTok challenge. They were attempting to recreate our battle formations using something called interpretive dance." The mighty admiral slumped in his command chair, watching as centuries of military discipline crumbled before the onslaught of human meme culture. How do you fight an enemy that doesn't fight back? He wondered aloud. That instead turns your entire invasion into entertainment. "Oh," Kirill suddenly exclaimed, checking his newly created Instagram account. "The humans have nominated us for something called the Strini Award in the category of Best Unintentional Comedy Series." Just then, a new transmission cut through their communications. It was the human they'd come to know as DJ Space Jam, but this time he looked unusually serious. "Yo, Crystal homies," he began. "We need to talk. Our scientists just detected something heading toward both our systems, and it's not looking good. Maybe we should put this invasion thing on pause and collab for real. Also, we're having a barbecue this weekend if you want to come through. BYOB, bring your own bioluminescence." Vexthor looked at his crew, all of whom were already checking their social calendars. The mighty Arxian Empire, conquerors of galaxies, reduced to party guests. And yet, as he watched another destroyer's crew learning human dance moves, he realized that perhaps this was exactly what his species had been missing for all these millennia. "Tell them," he said finally, "we'll bring the spaceships." The great misunderstanding. The situation room aboard the Eternal Dawn had been redecorated. Gone were the austere crystalline surfaces and harsh military lighting, replaced by what humans called mood lighting, and something called a mini-fridge. High Admiral Vexthor, now sporting a casual Friday modification to his exoskeleton, sat at a round table with both human and Arxian representatives. "Let me get this straight," said General Sarah Chen of Earth's hastily assembled Alien Relations Task Force, taking a sip from her coffee mug that read "World's Best Alien Invasion Survivor." "The thing heading toward our systems is called the Void Collective." Indeed, Vexthor confirmed, his crystalline structure dimming slightly. "They are the reason we began our expansion in the first place. A force that consumes all in its path, leaving only darkness." "Cool, cool, cool," DJ Space Jam nodded, scrolling through his phone. "Quick question though. Have they considered therapy?" Before Vexthor could respond, a junior human analyst named Kevin burst into the room, nearly dropping his laptop. "You guys need to see this. I've been analyzing the Arxian invasion protocols, and, well," the room's main screen lit up with ancient Arxian text alongside its human translation. As everyone read, a strange silence fell over the gathering. "Are you telling me," General Chen said slowly, "that this entire invasion happened because of a translation error?" Kirill, who had taken to wearing a Hawaiian shirt over his carapace, examined the data. "It appears that our original mandate of integrate and protect was somehow translated to conquer and subjugate. 1,000 years of imperial expansion," Vexthor muttered, "because someone forgot to update the translation matrix." "Brew," DJ Space Jam laughed, already turning the revelation into a meme. "You guys basically became space conquistadors because of a typo." The Arxian admiral watched as his species' entire military history was reduced to what humans called an epic fail moment. Surprisingly, he found himself laughing too, a sound that made several junior officers jump in alarm. "The real invasion was the friends we made along the way," Kevin quipped, earning groans from both species. But the moment of levity was interrupted by a priority alert. The main screen shifted to show a massive dark mass approaching the outer edges of both their systems. The Void Collective had arrived early. Well, General Chen stood up, straightening her jacket. I guess it's time to show them what Earth and the Arxian Empire can do together. About that, DJ's Space Jam interjected, pulling up a series of complex quantum calculations he'd apparently done while everyone was talking. I have an idea. You know how we turned your invasion into a viral sensation. What if we did the same thing to these Void guys? Vexthor's compound eyes narrowed. You want to turn an ancient cosmic horror into content. Think about it. Kevin jumped in, warming to the idea. They consume everything in their path, right? But have they ever tried to consume a TikTok dance challenge, or a Twitter ratio, or a Reddit debate about whether hot dogs are sandwiches? The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Arxians had already experienced how human chaos could undermine even the most disciplined military force, against an entity that operated on pure consumption and darkness. Get me every content creator, meme lord, and social media manager you can find, General Chen ordered. And someone find out if the Void Collective has an email address for our newsletter subscription. As the room erupted into activity, Vexthor watched his former enemies spring into action with an enthusiasm that still bewildered him. Humans were preparing to fight an ancient cosmic horror with what they called peak internet behavior, and somehow he found himself believing it might actually work. Sir, Krill approached, now wearing sunglasses indoors for some reason. The humans want to know if we can modify our fleet's crystal matrix to create something called a galactic wireless network. They say, and I quote, "We're about to make this Void Collective thing go viral, but like, in a bad way for them." Vexthor nodded, watching as humanity prepared to weaponize its most powerful force, its ability to turn absolutely anything into an internet phenomenon. The Void Collective has existed for eons, he mused, but they've never had to deal with human meme culture. God help them, General Chen smiled, already updating Earth's defense status on Twitter. Unexpected alliance. The battle against the Void Collective unfolded unlike any conflict in galactic history. The combined fleet of Earth and the Arxian Empire hung in space, their ships now decorated with what humans called RGB gaming lights and custom paint jobs voted on by Twitter. Status report. Vexthor commanded from the bridge of the Eternal Dawn, which had been renamed Space Vibe Central after a particularly heated Reddit poll. The Void Collective is responding exactly as predicted, General Chen replied, monitoring streams of data on her holographic display. They're completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of content we're throwing at them. The battlefield was chaos incarnate. The Void Collective, ancient cosmic horror that it was, found itself bombarded not with conventional weapons, but with humanity's most potent creations, an endless stream of cat videos, philosophical TikToks about whether a hot dog is a sandwich, and something called dad jokes that seemed to cause particular distress to their hive mind. Mom, Kevin called out from his station, where he'd been coordinating what he called the meme offensive. The collective is trying to adapt, but they just accidentally created their own social media presence. On the main screen, they watched as the cosmic horror entity struggled to understand human internet culture. Its first tweet read, "We are ye void. We consume ye all. Hashtag first tweet, hashtag new to this, hashtag cosmic horror things." Within minutes, humans had turned it into a meme format. Their consciousness is fragmenting, Krill reported, adjusting his newly acquired collection of Earth pins on his carapace. They're getting caught in what humans call internet rabbit holes. 3 sectors of the collective are now deeply invested in a debate about pineapple on pizza. DJ Space Jam, who had been appointed Earth's Minister of Vibe Warfare, grinned at his console. Wait till they find out about conspiracy theories. I just sent them a thread about how birds aren't real. The Void Collective's previously unstoppable advance had ground to a halt. Its ancient consciousness, evolved to consume all in its path, found itself completely unprepared for humanity's capacity to generate endless, meaningless, yet somehow completely engaging content. "Sir," an Arxian technician called out, "a portion of the Void has just discovered something called cute animal videos and is refusing to consume anything else." Vexthor watched in amazement as the great cosmic horror began to transform. Where once there was only darkness and consumption, now there were pockets of light as segments of the collective became invested in various aspects of human culture. "They're starting their own streaming channels," Kevin reported, barely containing his laughter. "One part of the Void is now doing makeup tutorials. Their first video is titled Getting That Perfect Cosmic Horror Glow." General Chen stood at the main viewport, watching as the battle unfolded. "We're not defeating them," she realized. "We're converting them into content creators." The final blow came when a particularly large segment of the Void Collective discovered online gaming. Within hours, the ancient cosmic horror had divided itself into competing esports teams and was more interested in upcoming tournament schedules than consuming civilizations. "Message from the Void," Kirill announced. "They want to know if we'd be interested in a collaborative crossover event." The bridge crew watched as the former cosmic horror entity presented a business proposal complete with PowerPoint slides and projected engagement metrics. The presentation ended with a slide that read, "From consuming galaxies to consuming content, a Void Collective rebrand." "Well," Vexthor said, his crystalline form sparkling with what might have been amusement, "it seems we've discovered a force more powerful than any weapon: human entertainment." "Does this mean we won?" Kevin asked, already designing merchandise for the event. "Better," DJ Space Jam replied, scrolling through the Void's newly created Instagram account. "We just gained the galaxy's biggest influencer network." In the months that followed, the galaxy transformed. The Arxian Empire pivoted from military conquest to becoming the universe's premier entertainment technology provider. The Void Collective's various segments became content creators specializing in everything from cosmic horror cooking shows to philosophical gaming streams. And Earth became the galaxy's cultural capital, the place where ancient cosmic horrors and crystalline warriors alike came to learn the art of what humans called just vibing. "You know," Vexthor said to General Chen during the first Galactic Content Creator Convention, Galacticon, watching as a former Void segment taught an Arxian warrior how to make reaction videos. "When we first arrived at Earth, we thought we were the superior civilization. And now," she asked, sipping from her "I survived the Void, and all I got was this mug coffee cup. Now I understand that humanity's greatest strength isn't your technology or your weapons. It's your ability to turn absolutely anything, even an invasion or a cosmic horror, into entertainment." "That's just how we roll," DJ Space Jam chimed in, now sporting the official title of Galactic Minister of Vibes. Above them, the convention center screens displayed the latest trending video, a collaboration between Arxian battle strategists, Void Collective influencers, and human meme lords titled 10 Ways to Turn Your Cosmic Horror into a Personal Brand. Number 7 will surprise you. The galaxy would never be the same, but maybe, just maybe, it would be more fun.